Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, April 8th. It is 6:16 right now. Market's going to open in about 14 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right, one last thing. And we're good. All right, so let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Link is sent out. All right. All right, as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here on our liquidity chart. Start off with the daily time frame. Going down to the 8-hour. Going down to the 4-hour. Going down to the 2-hour. Looks like price is consolidating a lot on the just change the zoom a little bit. There we go. Here's the 1-hour. Going over to the 30-minute. Down to the 15. Down to the 10. And it looks like we're good to go. All right, guys. So good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, April 8th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here on this chart. Closest level of liquidity is going to be above at 39,297. There's another level right above it. So this might get hit pre-market, if not immediately on open. Next level below is going to be at 39,199. And those are going to be the two levels of liquidity closest to current price. Going over to our clean chart, I'm going to mark up 6:30 right here. I'm going to mark up 8 o'clock right here. I'm going to go up to the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to identify structure. So we have structure up here. We have structure down below right here. We have structure right here. And those are going to be the 4-hour structures. Let's go down to the 1-hour, see if there's anything closer. There isn't. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna go back to the 1 minute here. Can't really see the structure from here, but let me go on the 10-minute real quick, see if I can get any closer. Okay, perfect. So with that said, I'm going to go and mark this up right here as the 4-hour resistance level. And then I'm going to mark this down here as the 4-hour support level. All right, so that looks good so far. Going back down to the 1 minute, it's not really close to anything, so it might not be too relevant, but we'll see what happens when the market actually opens here. Other than that, looking over here at the breakout V3 chart, there's a double body right here, but there's a sell signal that's already present, so that's not going to be useful. And there's no double body on the bottom end. So we'll come back and take a look at the breakout V3 when market opens. Looking over here at the PRB, the trend is currently bullish, but it looks like it might be shifting. So with that said, we'll probably be looking for a buy here, but if not, it can shift down to a sell at any moment. So we'll take a look at that when market opens as well. Lastly, going over here to our main chart, I don't believe there's any news today. So looking over here at the calendar, there's news at 8 o'clock, but that's going to be after our trading session. So it's going to be pretty much irrelevant for us. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 65% short. This indicates that 65% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you typically want to do the opposite and buy. However, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy, but that's kind of what it's looking like right now, and it goes in line with the current trend. Lastly, looking over here at the fundamentals, it's currently 54 points plus in the pre-market, so it's not very bullish right now. It's somewhat bullish, but not very bullish. And we'll see what happens here when the market actually opens. Otherwise, looks like we might have a bullish trend, so we might be looking for some buys here on open. Otherwise, it's not really required to predict, but we'll let's take it as is. Let's see, John's asking about liquidity. Sure. So here are the closest levels of liquidity right here, guys, if you guys are just joining in. So the closest level of liquidity above is going to be at 39,297. There's going to be another level right above it, and that's going to be the closest levels above. The levels below is going to be at 39,199, and the one below that's going to be at 39,179. So those are going to be the two closest levels. The one above is currently it's less than 20 points away. So this is probably going to get hit here, either pre-market or on market open. That's going to be the closest one. And then other than that, I think there's a couple that are, there's a couple that are above it right here, about like 40 points higher. And then down below also. So it's a good midway point. Sure, no problem, John. So guys, just a heads up, as I mentioned, I'm currently in a hole right now with my PA accounts with Apex. So I'm going to have to go back to my old trading style, which is, I wouldn't say it's more risky, but it's just a little more work with identifying the high probability scalps. If you guys are part of the mentoring group, I give you guys a heads up. I'm also going to be applying one other strategy. So I'm looking for momentum pullback scalps, breakout V3 continuations, and also now there's a new strategy. It's not really a new strategy. It's just a small tweak to the variation strategy. But I just called it something else so it's easier to follow. It's going to be called the consolidation variations. So this strategy is actually really good during consolidating markets. So this is going to be beneficial for us moving forward towards the summer markets because the market's going to be consolidating a lot more, just like it's been doing the past 3 weeks. So with this right here, you're going to be identifying the trend. So basically, I don't move this to a different chart because we're not going to be applying it on this liquidity chart. And I hate these text boxes. They're like hard to move over now. Okay, I'll leave it over here. So basically, we're going to identify the trend. So this doesn't make any difference. We're going to be identifying the trend for the MPS and for the breakout V3 continuation anyways. And then we're going to identify a variation pattern, which could be a double body, double wick. That's a V1 variation. Or we're going to look for a high candle with a high green candle with a red following candle, or a low red candle with a following green candle. That's the only difference. I mean, the real difference here are the last two requirements. So basically, there's going to be a different pattern. It doesn't have to be a double body, double wick. It's going to be either a low candle with a opposite candle or a high candle with an opposite candle. And then other than that, the last thing that really makes this strategy different is to confirm the second candle is smaller. So I already alluded to this last week. This is something that I said I noticed in the charts that I'm going to be looking for, and I tested it pretty much for the past 2 months. There's only been a few losses, like maybe 1 or 2 losses over a 1 to 2 month period. So I think it's a pretty good strategy to add on to our scalps. And then depending on the volatility, it's probably going to be a 1025 because the volatility has been pretty low for the past couple of weeks. And for this specific strategy, it's for consolidating markets. So it's going to be pretty much self-explanatory. That's what we're going to be looking for. So I'll show you guys some examples when they come up. Like this right here might be an example as it comes up right here. So currently right here, we have a bullish trend. You can see this red candle right here is the low. It's also a double body. And if this candle here closes green and it's smaller than this red candle, this here is going to be an example of this consolidation variation. So this will be I'm not taking this trade here. It's pre-market, obviously, but I'll show you this is an example of what the entry would look like. So it'd be like this. It just wouldn't be good pre-market because obviously the volatility is not there and the market's not really moving smoothly. You can see it's kind of getting manipulated to the downside. But this is basically what we'd be looking for. We'd be looking for either a double body, double wick with the second candle being smaller, or either if you're looking for buy here, it would be a low with a red candle followed by a opposite color, which would be green, of course, and you'd be taking the buy there. But I wouldn't take this here pre-market. I just want to show you guys an example of what we're looking for. So that's kind of what we look for right there. But again, I typically don't trade pre-market because of this obvious reason. You get this pre-market movement here, which, I mean, price can really go in either direction when it's moving this way. So other than that, let's see. Jeff's asking how many contracts am I using? I'm using 2 on my PA accounts. I'm using 15 on, I'm also running a 300K account on my copier just for backup from whenever I want to switch over or if I just need it along the line. I'm trading 9 contracts on the top step. And my contracts are going to be different from yours, guys. So depending on what you guys are using or what your risk is at, I'm using 2 because I can't really go too heavy right now since I'm waiting for, well, I'm not really waiting. I'm trying to get out of this hole first. Once I get out of this hole, so for this week moving forward, I'm going to be taking small contracts. I think for the next couple of weeks, I'll be taking small contracts. My main goal this week is to make at least about 1,000 across the PA accounts. And then from there, I will increase next week. So I'm not going to be adjusting my contract sizes until like the following week. So for this week, I'm on 2 contracts. And then next week, I'll make adjustments and I'll be taking more from there. And you guys can see here the manipulation here on open. This is why I don't trade pre-market. The market is now open right here, guys, 630. So I'm gonna go mark this up as opening price. But yeah, this here was a clear example of like why I don't trade pre-market. I know some people trade pre-market and they do pretty well, but you guys can see a lot of times it's going to be manipulative. And that's exactly what happened there. So, all right, guys, market is now open. There's no trend here, so there's no PRV setting up just yet. There's no double bodies here for the breakout V3, so there's no entries there yet. Here is our clean chart. Once we have structure here developed, I will mark up structure on the clean chart. And here's liquidity here as well. So price hasn't really touched anything yet. It's kind of just going back and forth. So first things first, I'm going to be identifying the range, or not the range, the trend. And then from there, I'll start looking for some entries. So the trend here hasn't confirmed yet. The trend might be bearish. If it's bearish, that's completely fine. I'll be looking for some sells here. But at the moment right now, there's no trend. You can see here that the pivots are crossing over, but there's no confirmation of trend yet. First thing that could be coming up here would be the PRB, but again, you'd have to wait for the trend here to confirm. So until there's a trend, there's nothing here to really look at. All right, and there goes that correction back up. It's rejecting directly off the sessions right here. As you guys know, that's an area of manipulation. It's typically why we don't trade around those areas. It's obviously a red flag at that point. This candle is huge. And again, this is why you kind of want to wait for the market to kind of stabilize a bit before you start looking for some entries. Because stuff like this will happen. You guys can see how big of a push this is. The ATR is currently at 20 right now, so it's extremely high. This was 1,000, but this is 1,000 pip, 100-point move from down here up to here. So we'll see what happens here. Again, this is an area of manipulation, guys. So it's not an area that I would recommend trading in. You guys can see price just gets manipulated on both sides. So price came right back up, faked out right here. And again, it's being manipulated right here at the sessions. So we don't have a trend yet. And again, we're just waiting. We are just waiting here for the trends to be established. Once the trend's established, we can start looking for an entry. We're getting a double body up here, guys. This double body is a little bit, I mean, it's sort of irrelevant because you can't really take a breakout V3 when there's no sell signal that's going to be setting up. All right, Steven, nice work. See you back here tomorrow. So Steven hit his goal and he's going to be wrapping it up for the day. Not sure what he took, but he took something. Took something. Yeah, no problem, Steven. Have a good day. All right, so other than that, looks like liquidity up here got hit. It looks like it didn't play through. But I mean, this was expected. So I don't like to keep anything on this chart, but this was something you'd be avoiding because of the sessions. So I turn the sessions right here. You guys can see this is where the sessions was. That green candle that hit liquidity was at the sessions. So, I mean, I wouldn't have touched this entry right here. Yeah, turn this back off. Let's see, Jeff is asking if this was an example of a consolidating. Yes, this was. Or no, it wasn't, because there's no trend. If the trend was bearish, then yeah, this would be an example of it. But yeah, this is an example of the pattern. So right here, you can see there's a double body rejection right there. And you can see how this second candle here is smaller than this one, right? So basically what we're doing here is we're trying to catch the bigger move. When the candle here is small, it's usually followed by the actual move, which is this big candle right here. And that would be the pattern. But the trend here isn't bearish, so this wouldn't be an entry that we'd be looking for. And also it's like right at the red flag here, but that is a pattern. So that's an example of the pattern you're looking for. Yeah, no problem, Jeff. Again, guys, this is an area of manipulation where the sessions is at, so I'm not even going to bother looking for any entries here at the moment. We're going to wait for the price to push away from this area, and then we'll start looking for entries. There's also no trend, so there's nothing to take here anyways, even if we wanted to. So it's all good. It's got to sit tight for a little bit, wait for price to really choose a direction. And you can see here that price is just, I mean, for the most part, it's established a huge range. So let me go over here to our clean chart. So we got the 1 minute resistance right there, and we have the 1 minute support down here. So we got the 1 minute resistance level right here. We got the 1 minute support level right here. All right, so you guys can see where the range is at. Price is pretty much just ranging back and forth between this full area right here. And this is fine. You know, it's fine that price is ranging within this area. We're just waiting for the trend here to confirm. Once the trend's confirmed, we can start looking for any possible opportunities. Again, there's not going to be any breakout V3s because there's a double body up here, but there's no sell signal. So, I mean, it wouldn't really matter until something's confirmed. There's no trend yet either, so there's no PRB. And price just continues to go back and forth from here. Madhu is asking, does it matter that the high was red if the trend was bearish, for example? Well, if the trend was bearish, you wouldn't be looking for any sells, Madhu, because that's the first requirement for the consolidating variations. You'd be trading the direction of the trend. So yeah, it would matter because you wouldn't be looking for sells, you'd be looking for buys. That's why we're not looking for anything here yet because there's no trend. So once the trend's been established, you'll be looking for trades in that direction. So, if the trend's bearish, you're not going to look for sells. If the trend's bullish, you're not going to be looking for, or sorry, you're going to be looking for sells, but you're not going to be looking for, here, let me just rephrase that. So if the trend here was bearish and we had this right here, this would have been perfectly fine if there was no red flags. But if the trend was bullish, which was earlier, so if the trend was bullish here, you wouldn't be looking for sells. So you'd only be looking for trades in the direction of the trend. So like going back to your question, Madhu, you're asking if the high was red. The high doesn't matter if it's a double body. You're looking for one or the other. So you're either looking for a double body, double wick, that's one of the setups, or you're looking for a high with a green candle followed by a red candle. So it's one or the other. It's not it's not both. So let me put this back up right here. That's why there's two options there. So you'll identify the trend. Obviously right here, there's no trend, but if the trend was bearish, then you look for a reversal pattern. There's two different patterns here you can look for, either a double body, double wick, or a high with the green candle, disregarding the double body, double wick, and then low with the red candle. Sometimes you'll have both. If you have both and they're on the same candle, it's like almost for sure gonna hit. From what I've seen from my testing, like this is another example right here, right? There's a low with the red candle, and then it's followed by a green candle right here. But again, there's no trend, so you wouldn't be trading that direction. Trend here actually looks bearish, so you probably wouldn't be looking for some buys here. But this is kind of the pattern that you're looking for. Yeah, no problem, dude. It's basically a V1 so the strategy is basically a V1. The only difference is that you're looking at the size of the candle. So that's like that's like the main thing that's different. You're looking at the size of the candle, and then you're also there's another criteria that you can add on to it as well. So this right here, if this was a setup that you were looking for, and I've tested it both ways, the strategy actually works both ways. So this would be an entry right here. I mean, if you really wanted to take it, this would be an entry right here. I mean, obviously it'd be kind of risky because you're not trading in the direction of the trend, but this is an example. All right, price comes down. When I initially tested it, I tested it in both ways. So I traded in both directions and it worked both ways. But obviously I want high quality entries, so I started to trade only in the direction of the trend. But you can see right here, it does work in both ways. I mean, you probably want to use a higher TP stop loss 1030 just to have some space. But this is an example of the strategy. Price came down, and this is an example of no double body, double wick. It's just a low with the red candle, followed by a green candle, which was a little bit smaller, and then that would be the entry right there. But for me, I'm looking for the trend. I'm looking for something that's like very quality, very high probability, so that I don't get caught on the wrong side of the market. Because this type of consolidating market, and the reason why you can trade both directions is because it's for a consolidating market, right? Consolidating markets go back and forth. So you can technically catch both of the rejections. Like you can catch the pattern up here, you can catch the pattern down here, you can catch the pattern up here, etc. But I don't want to take too much risk. So obviously I'm looking for the trend. All right, we have another double body right here, but this is not going to be a breakout V3 because, I mean, obviously there's no sell signal that's coming. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said it's in a huge range, nasty movement, fake outs on both sides. Yeah. It's in a huge range right here. And this is pretty much what I created the strategy for markets like this. And I'm just looking for inconsistencies in the market. If you guys look at the strategy, here's another setup here that could be for the consolidation variations. There's another low here. It's a double body. So this is the example that I was telling you guys about earlier, but there's no trend. So, and this candle might be bigger. So, I mean, who knows? Okay, so if this is the case, this might be setting up for a breakout V3. The only problem is that it's going to be in the direction of the sessions right there. Yeah, BB3 to the sessions. I'm not taking the BB3, but we will document it. I'm not going to take it on my personal account either anymore because the thing is I can't allocate the risk. So I think taking my normal scalps will be a lot more profitable, especially in this type of market. So I'll be documenting the BB3, but I'm not necessarily going to take it on my personal account, at least not right now, until the market's like moving directional again. Because it's just not moving directional at all. So, yeah, and it's pretty obvious right here. You guys can see how clear the market is. It's not moving directional at all. The BB3 is meant to be a breakout strategy. And if there's no direction, there's not going to be a breakout, right? Price is probably going to push up a little bit and then come back down. So, like I said last week, I think the biggest adjustment to the BB3 would probably be CP stop loss. So if you want to take it, I think a 15.15 would be solid. If you guys are still looking to take this here for the BB3. So I'll mark it up for you guys. When it comes up, I'll mark it up. There's a double body rejection right here, pending buy signal. If this here closes, this is going to set up for the breakout B3, not this, but the next candle after it. It'll set up for the BB3. The only problem is that it's right here at the session. So again, it's an area of manipulation. And you can see prices having trouble getting past this area right here because that's the sessions. Okay, so no buy signal there. Another pending buy signal here, but again, it's going to have trouble because of the sessions right here. The trend here still hasn't confirmed. So we're still here kind of waiting for the trend here to confirm. And again, this here could be the BB3 if anybody's looking to take it. But yeah, like Nick said it's a super sketchy area anyways, because there's the sessions there is going to be the issue for the most part. Hey, Brock, how's it going? Hey, Riga. Good to see you guys. It's been a while. All right, so we got the pending buy signal right here. It's going to have trouble getting past it. You guys can see. My guess is that price is probably just going to keep ranging within this area here. So there's actually another support right here. Another 1 minute support. All right, so we got another pending signal, but you guys can see where it's having trouble getting past that sessions. So we got the buy signal right there again. Yeah, Kill said, man, if it weren't for the sessions, I would have taken that. So that's another thing that I kind of dislike about the breakout V3. I like the breakout V3 as a strategy, but the fact that it comes up in red flag areas like this is typically what kind of throws me off. And that's why I personally don't like applying it as much as I used to. I think in the past when we had our breakout V3s, it wouldn't come up around the sessions. Like it would just be an open space because price and market was kind of just ranging, all throughout and price was moving directional all throughout March. So during March, we had a lot of price movement where it just kept climbing up higher and higher, right? Or we had prices climbing down. So the breakout V3s were actually really good because they're directional strategies. The only problem is that now that price is going sideways, we get in trouble because price gets stuck right here where the sessions are, right? And typically we don't trade where the sessions are. It's been one of our main things that we followed for like the past 5 years now, ever since I created this indicator. So that's kind of where the breakout V3 became tricky because there was no restrictions. It was a breakout strategy. The volatility was always high, it was directional. But now that we're going into a sideways market, the breakout V3 is kind of tricky. It's sort of what happened in the past. So if you guys remember in the past, we applied the original breakout, the breakout V2. Those strategies were good during certain periods because market was very volatile and it was very directional. But once we got closer to the summer months, the breakout strategies became very tricky. They still hit, but they became very tricky because you'd end up getting caught in areas that you don't want to be trading in. So we have a buy signal over here, guys. If this candle closes green, this is going to be the breakout V3. So if you guys are looking to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys there. Again, just a reminder, I'm not going to be taking the trade myself. I'll just be following it here and I'll be documenting it in our spreadsheet. Price is pushing up higher and we do have a bullish trend now. So we'll be looking for some scalps here as price continues to climb up from where it's currently at. It's currently rejecting off of sessions right here. So this might be a bit of a tricky area to be trading in because this is an area of manipulation. But again, if you guys want to take the breakout V3, I'll have it marked up here. If it closes green, and that will be the entry there for the breakout V3. Not sure if it'll close, but if it does, This is going to be a setup here for the breakout V3. Not one I'm taking, but we will be documenting it for our spreadsheet and for our data. All right, so the candle's closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This right here is the breakout V3. So that is the breakout V3 right there. I'm not in this position, like I said, guys. It's not an area that I personally would like to trade in because of the sessions right here. Like we just said, the sessions is an area of manipulation. I don't want to be surprised if price just consolidates on this area right here. You guys can see whenever price gets near these points, and let me just take this off right here. You know, if I take off all the indicators, and you guys see whenever price gets near any of these lines, horizontal lines, see the blue line here, manipulation. This purple line right here, manipulation. It gets manipulated in a lot of these areas. Fake out, fake out, fake out, comes down super hard, comes back up here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like another fake out area. So yeah, we got to go back to basics, guys. I mean, this is what's been making us profits like over the past years. So this is why I'm going to go back to like what we've been doing, because what we've been doing has been working. The only reason we kind of changed things up is because I was trying to make things easier for a lot of people. But I mean, realistically, that's not how trading works, right? Trading is not easy. You have to adapt with the market and you have to be able to follow with what's going on in the market. So like, for example, here, we can see that there's areas of manipulation. We can see that price is pretty much in this huge range. And this is, this is a huge indicator for ourselves. So, okay, maybe we have to know when to sit out of trades. So for example, here, I already knew this trade was going to be risky because of the sessions. And that's why I decided not to take that trade there for the breakout V3. Because that strategy is not good for a sideways market. And obviously we're in a sideways market here. So yeah, it looks like it did not play through here. Let's see if we switch it back to a 25-25. The 25-25 would technically still be running right now. The volatility is very high. So I think for this specific entry, a 25-25 might have been better, but I don't think it would make much of a difference because you can see how price is currently moving right here. The ATR is currently at 22. So it's actually a lot higher than it normally is. But either way, I think this is still a tricky area and a tricky entry. So I'll leave this up here and I'll take a look at this later. But other than that, there's not really much else to look at here. There's currently a PRB that's setting up. So we had a wick rejection right there. Next up, we need to have a space consolidation candle, which you don't have here yet. There's not going to be any scalps here for us to take right now at the moment because price is sitting in between the sessions. So it's not really going to make much of a difference for us. Unless we have an entry that kind of just shows up like right here in between, which I highly doubt will happen. I mean, it could be possible. So we have a low over here with a red candle. So there might be a possibly, okay, so this might be a consolidation variation right here. But it's going to be really close to the session. So I don't think this is going to be one that we'd be able to take here. I'll see as it gets closer to like, okay, so if this candle closes kind of small like this, then this is going to be an entry for the consolidating variation. But if it touches the sessions, then it's not going to be. This is going to be a really tight, and it just touched the sessions right there. So there's not going to be entry there. Again, this is a tricky area to trade in because it's in between two sessions. And if price touches the sessions, then obviously it's going to be invalidated because that's a red flag. So we need price to push away from here. We need price to either push above and climb up higher. We need price to push below and climb down lower to establish the trend. So nothing there right now. I'm just going to leave this here for the breakout V3 so that we have this marked up. The PRB over here still has not set up yet. But the PRB is up next. John's asking what's the ATM and consolidation variation. It's 1025. All the scalps are going to be 1025 right now until we have confirmation that the volatility is going to stay high. The volatility is still kind of low right now. So we'll keep it at 1025. If volatility goes up a little bit more, we'll change it to 1030. If volatility goes up a lot, then we'll change it to like 2550. But yeah, for right now, we're just gonna keep them all the same. Because the thing is, the ATR right now is pretty high, but I don't think this is gonna hold, right? I think this is kind of gonna die down. And this is another setup right here for that would have been a nice entry. So this is what I was looking for right here, guys. But it's at the session, so we couldn't take it. That would have been a full TP right there. So we have the double body rejection right here. You can see how this green candle is smaller than the red. This is the setup that I was looking for. But unfortunately, we couldn't take it because it was right at the sessions. So you guys can see how lucrative this strategy is. I showed you guys a couple examples today, and they all pretty much hit. This strategy is pretty good. It's good for consolidating markets. Yeah, Maddie said it hits. But the sessions is kind of what throws us off. That would have been a good entry, though. That would have been the setup that we were looking for. But yeah, back to what I was saying earlier with the ATR. The ATR is currently at 22 right now, but I highly doubt this is going to hold. This is probably going to hold for like maybe the next 10 minutes or so. And then once we get closer to like 710, 720, it's going to go down to like 15. So the ATR is not going to hold for very long. And at that point, we'll be looking for hopefully at least one entry today. I think we'll get one entry at least, at the very least. One other thing that I talked about with Maddie yesterday was for the breakout V3 continuation, guys, I think we're going to need an ATR requirement for that because we do have the ATR requirement for the NPS. And I think the ATR requirement for the breakout V3 is also going to be necessary. For the consolidation variations, it's not really necessary because it's meant to be for a sideways market. So it's okay in a low ATR market. But for the NPS and the BV3C continuation, for that, you would need an ATR because those are directional strategies. And since the market's not very directional, it's another reason why there should be an ATR because those strategies aren't going to work as well. Because the last thing you want to do is get caught in a sideways market, taking a BV3 and there's another setup right here, guys. So another double body right here with a small green candle. But again, the sessions is right there. So I don't think this is one that we could have taken. Yeah, it's too close to the sessions right there. Like I said earlier, this whole area is an area of manipulation. If I was to take this off over here real quick, so let me just take the indicators off again slightly. So once I take all these off, you guys can see that whenever price gets near these, like either the purple line, the red line, or the blue line, you can see where the manipulation happens, right? Price will fake out. So fake out right there, fake out right there, fake out right there, fake out right there. And again, price is at this area again. So of course, you could expect another fake out. So we're just not going to trade around this area until price gets away from it. And that's to be on the safer side, right? We're looking for high quality, high probability and high quality trades. And we're looking for that low hanging fruit. We're looking for the trades that we know for sure are going to hit. These right here, they're probably going to hit, but they're not for sure because this throws it off, right? This is like a wild card. Like you have an entry here and I think the entry here probably might hit, but the problem is that the wild card here is the sessions because when price gets near here, like one of two things is going to happen. Price is going to touch the sessions and reject directly off it, come back down, and you're going to hit your stop loss, or price can just blast through it and hit your TP, right? I don't like putting my trades at chance. And that's another reason why I stopped taking the BV3 on my accounts because the BV3 was a good strategy during a directional market. We're obviously not in a directional market here. And you're kind of taking a big risk because if you're trading around the sessions or you're trading around any of these, I feel like the sessions here, they're tricky during a sideways market because it gives like the market makers an opportunity to manipulate even when you least expect it because price isn't just blasting through it like it normally does. It's getting close to it. And then when it gets close to it, it's going to fake out. Like for example, here, it's like, okay, I'm going to fake out here, come down a little bit, and then I'm going to fake out back to the upside. Right. So you get caught on those fake outs and it's a big problem. But it looks like this here would have hit TP. So looking at this entry here for the consolidating breakout, or sorry, consolidating variation, it looks like it would have hit TP again right there. But the problem is that it's at the sessions. So I would not have messed with this entry here. But it would have hit. So I showed you about 3 entries today, like the patterns that showed up, and they all hit full TP. So that would have been like 3 back-to-back wins, which would have been super nice if we could have taken them. But, you know, it is what it is. We got to chill until price gets away from these sessions here, which is super annoying. Let's see, Jacob's asking quick dumb question. Is there a reason why my YM looks different from TradingView? Which YM looks different? Jacob, does it look different on TradingView or does it look different on a different platform? Because if it's on TradingView, odds are you're probably on delayed data. So if you look at this button right here, it says market open for me. I have live data. If yours is yellow, it's probably gonna say delayed. If you're delayed, it's probably delayed by 10 minutes. You're on TradeObey. Okay. That is unusual because it should be. Wait, are you on TradeObey or are you on NinjaTrader? Because on TradeObey, the symbol is YMM4. If you're on a YM624, that's what it is. Or I don't even know where that. Because on my NinjaTrader, it's YM June 24. Yeah, maybe change the symbol to YMM4. Because on my TradeObey, it's YMM4. I think that might be the case. Otherwise, I'm not sure why your data would be delayed. Because you're on the right symbol. I mean, the symbol is June 24, but that's just not what I'm on. Like mine's at YMM4 for TradeObey. Unless you're on a different platform, then if that's the case, I don't know if I could help. Because I'm currently on NinjaTrader, YM June 24, and it's looking fine on my TradingView. It looks fine here, and then on my other screen over here with my TradeObey, it's at YMM4 and it looks fine too. All right, so we got the trend over here shifting down, guys. Yeah, no, it's fine, Jay. You could screenshot me it, and then we can like take a screenshot, send it over to the Discord, and we can pull it up. Yeah, I can try to help you with it once we have some more free time here. All right, so there's no trend here, guys. This here is again setting up for that same setup that we just looked at earlier, but there's no trend here. So we can't look for any buys at this point. If anything, we might be able to start looking for some sells once the trend here is confirmed. Looking over here at the PRB, there's no PRB for today. It's about to be 7 o'clock. So there's no PRB entry. As you guys can tell, there's no direction in the market. Typically, there would be a PRB right away, but or actually, let me see. I think there might have been a PRB here. So we have the rejection right there. I don't think we ever got a space candle now. Yeah, because all these candles here were touching the pivots. So we never got a space candle. So there's no PRB for today. Looks like price is coming back down to open. This is perfectly fine. Zoom out a little bit right there. Let's see, question from Akil. Akil's asking, how far does the candle have to be from the sessions for it to be considered not a red flag? So there's only 2 ways. For one, it can't be touching it. So none of the entry candles or the candles that you're analyzing for entry, they can't be touching it. That's going to be step 1. And the second one is your TP can't be touching the sessions. So it doesn't necessarily have to be very far from it, just can't be touching it. And it can't be having to touch it to hit your TP. Those are the only 2 times when it becomes a red flag. Same with opening price right here. We try to avoid trades that have to touch opening price because the same thing happens here. You guys can see down here, price comes down and then it just fakes out and goes straight up. So that's another area which you want to probably avoid. Looking over here at the pivots are starting to shift to a bearish trend. You can see the trend, the red pivot here is starting to cross over. Once it crosses over above all the other pivots, this here would be setting up for a bearish trend. Once we have that, we can start looking for some sells. So our main focus here is going to be on the main chart now. There's no PRB for today. BV3 is already done. Here is our clean chart. You guys can see on the clean chart, it's actually pretty clear to see where price is rejecting from because I've marked up structure here. So you can see where the resistance levels are. Price came up from here, and then it started coming down, retested the resistance. Now it's back down to the support level, and where opening price is. So it's currently passing through opening price, and it's establishing a new support, possibly. So price broke support, retested, come back to the lower support here. If it comes back below this, probably do the same thing, continue lower from there. But again, we're not going to predict. We're just going to wait and see where price goes. And if price does drop lower, target price points can be the liquidity down here. And we'll just continue waiting. Man, these would have been some nice entries. So like I said earlier, these strategies are good for consolidating markets. The only problem is that the sessions is right there. So if the sessions wasn't here, that would have been some good entries, because we would have had like, I think, a couple of good entries here, like 3 entries that would have came up for the consolidation variations. All right, so we have a downward trend here now, guys. If anything, I mean, we might be starting to set up for a MPS entry as well. So we can be setting up for an MPS. We'd also be setting up for a for consolidating variation. We're not going to have a breakout V3 continuation because we already have a sell signal here. So that's not going to happen. There's only 2 entries that can be setting up here, which would be a momentum pullback scalp or the consolidation variation. All right, now we wait. It's only 7:03, guys, so we have a lot of time. There's no rush here. Volatility is probably going to die down a little bit. You can see it's down at 20 now. It was at 23 earlier, and it's now down to 20. So that's fine, because there's not really going to be much of an ATR requirement for the consolidation variation strategy anyways. Just got to wait for the setup here to line up. Yeah, so it looks like you're on the right chart, Jacob. You are on YMM4. Just kind of curious why yours is. So I do see that your data is delayed right here. Try logging out, Jacob, and then log back in. You can just, if you scroll over that little clock button right there, it shows that your data is delayed. So you're delayed about 10 minutes. I'm assuming this is your Apex account, right? Yeah. So what you would just have to do is log out and log back in. It usually fixes it. So yeah, it just looks like you have delayed data, which is usually delayed about 10 minutes. That's why you're like way back here while we're like down here. All right, so we're currently down below opening price. So you guys might want to be a little careful with any momentum pullback scalp entries, guys, because price looks a bit overextended. Right, so if you look from, and I usually just scroll from the nearest high, price is down about 100 points. So if you guys are looking for a momentum pullback scalp, I would have to make sure that it's like super clean and it's not like it's too close, because it might be a little too close. Meaning like the candle might close and it might spike up here. Like you might be waiting for a momentum pullback scalp right here, but then price might push up, or you might be waiting for right here and it might end up being like right here. So you got about like 20 seconds left on here. If anybody's looking to take this, this momentum pullback scalp, looks like the entry would probably be right here at the 10 mark. Let's see if I can line it up. I can't even line it up. It's kind of hard for me to set up these pending orders over here for my Ninja, because there's no lines. I wish there was lines on the whole numbers. So I'm not able to get into this position right here. I was going to set it up, but yeah, I need to figure out how to put lines on my Ninja so that it'll be easier for me to set these pending orders. But the MPS is currently running right now, guys. If anybody was in it, got into it, it's probably gonna hit. Should just enter the market. I need to find a better way to get into these MPSs because they're good entries. It's just hard on NinjaTrader. Trying to figure out to see if there's a way to set up like an a ticket window. But I don't think there is. I might have to just execute these trades on TradeObate. Okay, so here goes the MPS, guys. The MPS is currently running right now. I wasn't able to get into the position because it's kind of hard to click. I need to buy a mouse for my laptop. Yeah, full TP right there. So if you guys caught it, nice work. Gotcha. Okay, Tanner said he used super dom. Yeah, that would have been a good entry right there too. Nice. So Sadie caught it. CJ got it. A couple of you guys there got it. So there goes the first entry for the day, momentum pullback scalp that came up. I wanted to enter it, but every time I clicked on like the chart, it was giving me like a point above or a point below. So I was I couldn't get in at 10. Like I tried it every time I clicked on the chart, it gave me like 11 or 9. And then by that point, it was already too late to get into the entry. Oh yeah, thanks, Patricia. If you can, that'd be great. I would just like to get lines at like you just stretch out the chart. I think that's what you do, right, Patricia? 'Cause I'm stretching out the chart right now. I could kind of see. But now my chart's all screwed up. Um, how do I reset this? Ah, man, my chart's all messed up now. Okay, I fixed it. Back to automatic. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. No, I see it in the settings now. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, I got it set up. Okay, in the future. In the future, I'll be ready. It's all good. So I'm glad you guys caught that entry there, guys, for the momentum pullback scalp. Unfortunately, I missed it, but it's okay. I'll be looking for the next entry over here as well. Yeah, no, what I was trying to do, Nicholas, is I was trying to get the grid lines. So you know the lines on the chart, I was trying to get it set at every 10 mark. Now I do. So I can see where the actual 10 marks are now. I went into the properties and I just changed the horizontal settings. Yeah, Keel said, Maddie said horizontal. I don't see the entry right here, Maddie. Which one are you talking about? Oh yeah, so Maddie just misidentified it. Sorry, Maddie. Yeah, I just went into my settings. I went to horizontal lines and I put it to fixed. It's normally automatic. I put it to fixed and I put it set to 10 points. So now wherever my chart is, it just has lines at every 10 mark. And it's not like super dark, so it's like easy to see. All right, so we're looking for the opportunity here for the consolidating variation. We already have the MPS here, so there's not going to be any MPS until we get another sell signal. So the next thing that we'll have setting up here would be the CV entry. I'll just call it CV entry. It's easier to say. It's kind of a mouthful saying consolidating variation. So if you guys are wondering what CV means, CV is consolidating variation. Price is consolidating right here. You guys can see the ATR is starting to get a bit lower. Now we just wait. So we're just gonna keep waiting a little bit here. Perfect. Yeah, no problem, Jacob. All right, the ATR is currently at 18. It's dropped from 23 down to 18. So you guys can see the market is getting very, very slow here at this point, which is fine. It's fine because this strategy is okay during these types of markets. All right, so here's our clean chart. I'm just gonna go and mark up another support. You guys can see the structure down there. Let's put it closer to 8 o'clock. And one thing as well that if you guys have been around for a while, you guys already know this, but one thing that I typically do is once it gets closer to like say 740, that's usually my cutoff time for entries because that's when the volatility gets really, really low. Like 15 ATR, like 12 to 15 ATR is fine, but once it gets closer to say 740, the ATR drops down like under 10 or it stays around 10. And it's usually not a good area to be trading in because it's going to be going like very sideways for an extended period. So we have a pending sell signal right here. Looking to see how this closes. No sell signal there. Have a new low. So obviously you can see prices obviously ranging down here. So you guys can see it from this clean chart over here that this is now the new range. Price is ranging and consolidating within this lower area right here. Just cool. Nothing wrong with that. Price is climbing back up. So what I'm going to be looking for here is I'm going to be looking for a CD entry. I'm looking for price to push up right here, establish a high, and come back down into the range. Right, because the range is down here. So I'm looking for the fake out above right here, look for that CB entry, and come right back down into the range. So it's got to sit tight. Oh, sorry, Nicholas, you were asking me. Yeah, I thought you were telling me, but you were asking me a question. So you're asking if they show every 10 regarding how zoomed in you are. Yeah, they do. So you just got to go to your properties, go to horizontal lines. It's set to automatic, set to fixed, and then set your points to 10. So that means that at every 10 points, it's going to have a line there. It's like a light gray line. So it doesn't really get in the way of your chart. And that's how I did it on Ninja. Nice. Sadie over here took the liquidity, but he pulled out for five ticks. It's in chart properties, Nicholas. Yeah, it's directly on the chart properties. All right, so we got price kind of pushing up a little bit. There's no double body, double wicks yet. We're looking for either a high green candle. Seeing price push it a little higher. I mean, price could come down from here as well. But you guys can see the ATR starting to die down, which is what we expected. ATR is now down on the lower 18s. So it looks like it's going to probably get closer to the 16, 15 points. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, just got to sit tight and wait. But if you go over here to the clean chart, you guys can see it's not really going anywhere. It's just faking out like it did earlier. Price came up, fake out right here. That would have been nice if this would have been the entry setup, but this candle here is red. But yeah, price pushed up, faked out right there, came right back down. And again, we just continue to wait for the entry here. All right, so for this right here, this could be setting up for a breakout V3 continuation. The ATR is still pretty decent, but it's kind of tricky because the ATR can drop in the next couple. I mean, it's dropping right now, as you guys can see. And the candles here look a little blocky, so I don't know if this is going to be pretty clear for it to be a red candle or not. But you definitely would have to wait for the very last second, which makes it even more trickier. So if you guys want to take this right here, this could be the breakout V3 continuation. I just don't like how these candles here, you can see how it's like a doji and it changes at the very last second. So I don't even think this is here is going to close. It's not looking like it. Yeah, no entry there. And again, this is why the ATR is important for the MPS and the breakout V3, because if you don't follow this, you're going to get caught in a lot of fake outs. And it's right next to open price as well, just like CJ said. All right, so we got price pushing up right here. And you can see where the, like I said earlier, the manipulation happens at these horizontal lines. So let me zoom out real quick. I'm going to show you guys again one more time so that you guys can see how obvious it is where not to trade. Turn these off right here. And again, if you look at the charts or you look at the chart here, whenever a price gets near any of these horizontal lines, see how price comes down right here, fakes out, comes back up, fakes out, comes back down, fakes out, and then it comes back up. So you don't want to trade around these areas. You want to use these as target price points, but you don't really want to trade around these areas. So this here again was another entry, guys. It was another setup, but it was right at opening price again. So it's red flag. Man, today's just full of red flags. So this would have been the CB entry right here, but the problem with this here is that it's right at opening price. So like I just said earlier, we don't want to trade around opening price or sessions or news price or anything like that. So this right here is actually not an entry that we would have taken because again, it's at the red flag. Yeah, Maddie said not risking this. He's sitting. I'm doing the same thing. I'm not taking any entries here because it's not in an area. It's not in an area that you want to be trading in. Especially if your account's pretty tight right now. Like for example, my accounts are tight. I can't take unnecessary risks right now because like one mistake will set me back. It'll set me back a bit, and it's not really worth the risk. Yeah, Kim said the eclipse is messing with everything. Right? What time is the eclipse today? Let me check. Because I know there is, well, I mean, I know it's coming to my area. Eclipse time. Let's see. So it's happening at 10:35 a.m. Now that's crazy. That's crazy. We'll see what happens. This eclipse. It's like it's how people use what's it called mercury grade. Mercury grade is messing with the water. It's messing with the market. All right, so we have a high here with the green candle. Again, this is going to be a problem because even if we do get an entry right here, it's probably going to be, yeah, it's going to cut into the opening price, which sucks. I mean, we'll see how this candle closes. If this candle closes small, then cool. But this is as far as I'll go. If it goes anywhere below this, it's going to be cutting into the opening price. If anybody wants to take that risk, I mean, feel free to take the risk, but I'm not going to take it. Farthest I can go is like right there. It's got to close like really small. No, Daniel, we don't take momentum into consideration, not for this specific strategy. All right, so this might be an entry right here for the CB guys. It's kind of tricky. No, I don't think it's gonna be an entry. It's too low. I'd have to take the entry if it was up here, but it's too low. It's gonna cut into the opening price. Yeah, unfortunately, this is not gonna be an entry for us because it would have to cut into the opening price right here, and this is a red flag. I don't want to get caught in manipulation down here. All right, so I'm not in this position here, unfortunately. I would have been okay with it if it closed higher, but definitely closed way too low. And I'm glad that we didn't take it. You guys can see how these candles are now moving. I mean, it might set up for another one here. So the trend is still bearish, guys. There's still opportunity for the entry. So just keep that in mind. See, Kim said 135 for us. Our town is covered up with visitors about 2 miles exactly from the path of the sun. Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, the eclipse is crazy, guys. I've never seen the eclipse before. I'm not going to look at it because I heard you can go blind if you look at it. So I'll be looking at it. I'll be looking at the shade, but I won't be looking at the actual eclipse. Okay, so this might be another entry right here, guys, for the CB. So we have a high here with the green candle. And this candle here closes with a smaller red candle. This can be the CB entry right here. It's 40 seconds left on it, so it's got a lot of time. Yeah, the trend's okay, Nicholas, right here. So we're looking at the pivots. I mean, the trend meter is also red, but we're looking here at the pivots. Yeah, basically, as long as the red pivot is above all the other pivots, level 4, that would be the confirmation of the trend. Yeah, mainly just the pivots. All right, so we got this setting up right here. We got 10 seconds left. I don't know if this will close red. It's really gonna be hard to tell. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so I'm in the position right here. Where are you coming from? Tricky market right here.
Order submitted.
So the order submitted. I think I got in a little late. Damn, don't tell me it's gonna hit my stop loss. I'm gonna be so pissed. It's weird how the volatility works. Like the volatility has been like weird, right? It's been like this for the past couple of weeks where and I don't think there's any news right now either. There's nothing really pushing price around, or there's no catalyst that's really pushing price. But like all of a sudden we get like an increased spike of volatility right now, which I mean, there's no news, there's nothing on, like CNBC hasn't reported anything today, which is kind of unusual too. They usually report how the market's moving for the day, but there just hasn't been anything today. No news, no catalyst, no nothing. Fuck my life. I think I got stopped out.
Order filled.
I don't know how I got stopped out though, because the trade is still running. I think I probably got in that bad entry. That might have been the case. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. It would have hit stop loss either way. So unfortunately, we got caught again in like some weird market conditions. Like, I don't know where this volatility is even coming from. This thing's spiking up super heavy. So I got stopped out on this trade here. This is the CB entry that we're looking for. The one CB that comes up that doesn't actually play through is like the one that was setting up here, but everything else hit from earlier today. I mean, it's all good. I'll meet the loss there, bounce back from it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes all the way back down from where it's currently at. Let's see where it's at right here. Yeah, so for today so far, we had a momentum. These are the only entries that came up that were like actually valid. So the ones that came up today were the momentum pullback scalp that happened right here. And then we had the CB entry right here that was valid, didn't work out. The other CB entries that came up over here, they all hit. So there was about like 4 entries that came up today, 3 of them hit, 1 that didn't, which is pretty normal. For my testing, that's kind of what I've seen. For the most part, it's pretty much straight through. Like I've seen a bunch of wins and maybe like 1 or 2 losses for the past couple weeks, if not months. And I factored in the red flags too. So like the sessions did factor in. It was just today, I don't know where this volatility came from. The market was super flat down here. And then all of a sudden it just started climbing up super, super fast. But there was really no catalyst that was pushing price in that direction. There was no news, there was no CNBC reportings. I mean, there was really nothing to cause price to climb up like that. But I mean, it's all good. It happens. You know, that's how the market works. And that's how we have to bounce back from it. So I took a minimal risk. I took 2 contracts. I lost like $200, which is not really much. But yeah, for the official entries for today, there's only 2 of them that came up, these 2. So let me just put this in the spreadsheet for today. So this here's an MPS that came up earlier today. I wasn't able to get into it because of the I didn't have the lines lined up on my Ninja Trader. So that's the first one right there. That's the MPS. And then we have a loss over here with the consolidation variation right here. Yeah, the market's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what caused the push to the upside, but market's been kind of like this for the past couple of weeks. And then stop loss hit over here for the consolidation variation. All right, so unfortunately that trade right there lost. For me, my trading plan is, and once I have a loss, I'm done trading for the day. I'll keep looking for entries here, but for my accounts, I'm not taking any more trades because I'm like I gotta maintain my risk here. So yeah, unfortunately, it would have been nice if I took the momentum pullback scalp earlier over here because this would have recouped. This would have like basically softened the blow from this trade. Because then at that point I'd only be down 15 points versus 25. But it's all good. I just gotta deal with it and yeah, bounce back tomorrow. It's only Monday, so we have a whole week ahead of us. Not really a huge deal. But we'll see where this takes us tomorrow. But yeah, we'll look for some more entries here. It's getting close to 740. We have about 10 minutes till then. And by then, the volatility is probably going to die down even more. ATR right now is currently at 17. So you'll see once it gets closer to 740, the ATR is going to get even smaller. It's currently at 17 right now. And then it'll probably drop down lower to say, I don't know, 15, 14, 13, somewhere around there. Let's see, Akil said, Sean, there was an entry. Was the entry a spinning top? Maybe make sure for the CV. No, so I've already back tested it. I don't take that into consideration at all. But yeah, I see what you mean right here, the spinning top. The whole point of this strategy is that you're looking for a high point. The way that it works is you're looking for a high point, and then you're looking for a smaller candle after it. Like, let me see if I can find another example over here. Or here's another example right here. Sorry, guys, had a sneeze. So this right here is going to be at the news price. So I'm sorry, not news price, the sessions. So this isn't going to be an entry that we're going to be looking for right here. But if this candle, what did it? I was seeing if it was going to close red, because if it did close red, this would be a setup. But basically, the logic behind this type of entry is sort of like an opposite of an engulfing candle. So you can see it like right here, there's a double body. And as I said before, when I first tried out the strategy, when I first started testing it, the strategy works in both directions. It's just for me, I trade in the direction of the trend so that I'm not on the wrong side of the market. But for example, right here, you can see how this is a double body rejection and this candle here is smaller. the whole logic behind it is that this candle hasn't had its full move yet. Because typically for an engulfing candle, this candle is usually bigger than the first one, right? So we're doing the opposite. We're reverse engineering it, where we're basically having a reversal pattern. And since this candle here isn't bigger, we're expecting the next candle or one of the next candles to be bigger. And you can see where the engulfing actually happened, which is right here. And that's kind of where you're getting your move from, right? So that's the logic behind the strategy. And that's how I kind of put it together, because that's how I've been seeing the market lately. Like same with, and I'm trying to look for another entry here, but there's not. Okay, so like this one right here, same thing. There's no trend here, but you can see how there's a double body rejection right there. And see how like this candle here pushes up. You're basically looking for the next candle to fill this candle that kind of pushed it up. So you have a big candle right here. You have the reversal, it's a small candle, and you know there's still space here that's left over, right? It's just basic price action. But this is like pure price action. So for example, right here, you guys can see how there's enough space here for it to fill the rest of this candle. And that's why we would enter at this point off the reversal so that we can catch it for that push to fill the previous candle there. So that's the logic behind it. And let me go back to the candle that we took earlier. So it was the same situation with this right here. So with this right here, I was expecting the same thing. The only thing with this is that there wasn't a double body at this point. So it's the same logic. It's just, it would have been better if it was a double body. That's why the initial strategy was based off double body. But I've seen this work in the past, because sometimes you'll see where it's a double body, where it should be a double body, but it's kind of offset, right? Like this is offset right here. I was expecting price to, if it was to correct down, it would fill, the rest of this candle right here. That's why my TP was right there. So I was like, okay, if price needs to fill the rest of this candle right here, it would hit my TP before it comes back up from there. But, for whatever reason, price pushed up higher. And there's just a big push of volatility that happened towards the, I don't know what's pushing price up right here, honestly. There's like really no catalyst, because there's no news happening, and market was kind of dead for a while. You can see how price was kind of dead for a while right here. It was dead for like a good 10, 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden price just like, it hasn't even retraced yet. It's been a straight line up right here. And there's no positive news. There's no CNBC reportings. There's nothing really pushing price up. But price pretty much pushed up from its low point here all the way up over 100 points. So it's like one of those unexplainable moves here. Like from a sideways move. Yeah, exactly. It went sideways, and then from here it just went straight up for like whatever reason. I don't know why price went up like that. Usually there's some sort of there's something that pushes price up. Like sometimes there's a news event, or the Fed speaking, or whatever may be happening to cause, a big correction like that. But there's just the Fed doesn't speak until later tonight. So it's all good. It's just a toss up. We'll take this trade or this loss here at the toss up, and there's no real explanation behind it. The strategy was followed as it was supposed to. And that's just how some of the strategies run, right? Sometimes strategies just don't work sometimes, and there's no explanation behind it. So it's 7:35 right now. As you guys can see, like I mentioned before, once it gets closer to 7:40, the volatility dies down, and you can see the ATR down here is currently at 16. So with that said, I guess we'll wait and see what happens here over the next couple of moments. But if nothing happens here for the next couple of minutes, then we're just probably gonna wrap it up. There's no other entries available. Prices in between the sessions again. So I don't think there's going to be any other entries that will come up here anytime soon. Yeah, other than that, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll answer whatever you guys need help with. This week we'll be having the mentoring session. I'll have to I'll hop into the chat and I'll ask you guys when you guys want it, because I'm not sure if you guys want it at the beginning of the week, beginning of the month. Well, we'll do monthly mentoring sessions. So once a month, we'll do a mentoring session. I don't know if you can set a poll here like we used to in Telegram. Before, there used to be a poll that you could set up around here, but there's no polls here. I don't think there's a poll option. I'm gonna have to use a different app for it. That's right. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, and I'll ask the other guys as well. Let's see. Hawk is asking, would the pivots have to be all bearish on last CV? Which one are you talking about? Hawk, are you talking about the are you talking about the one that we just took right here? Yeah. So yeah, you would have to have a bearish trend. That's gonna be the first step for it. You would need you would need to have the trend. That's gonna be the first step. So the first step for any CV entry would be the trend. So there was like one entry here. There was a couple entries that came up over here as well. So over here, the trend was bullish, but unfortunately, we couldn't take the trade because it was right at the sessions. There's a couple CV entries that actually came up over here. Since there's no entries coming up anytime soon, I'll just go ahead and show you guys some of the CV entries that came up here earlier this morning. So let's just replay at this point here. So the CV entry, like for example, here the trend was bullish, and you're looking for the low here, followed by a green can, like a smaller candle. So right here, you can see there's a double body rejection. You can see this green candle is smaller than this red one, right? This here was the first CV entry, or I don't know if it was the first, it was like one of the entries that came up. So this right here is a CV entry for buy because the trend was bullish, and you had a setup right there. So obviously this one here hit full TP. And then I think there was another one that happened right after it. So this right here was a red candle. Again, right here, same thing, double body rejection. This green candle here is smaller than this red one. Another CV entry right there. And I think it did hit full TP again right there too, yeah. So there's two CV entries that came up right after each other right here. It's basically it's like an opposite engulfing pattern. Because people typically look for the bigger one, but we're looking for the smaller one. Let's see. Yeah, CJ. So CJ said, I thought we decided middle of the month already. Yeah, we're doing middle of the month, but we're trying to figure out what day, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. I mean, if you guys have an idea, because if you guys want to do it, Monday, I can do it today. If not, we can do it another day. It's just up to preference. Because it doesn't really matter to me what day we have it on. I just want to have it whenever it's most convenient to people. There's another CV entry that came up right here. Man, it just sucks. Today, there's another CV entry. I mean, there's so many CV entries, but they're at like red flags. So right here, price came down again. There's a double body. See how this green candle is smaller than this red one? There's another CV entry right there for a full TP. And you guys can see my logic here. The logic here makes a lot of sense now that you're seeing it a lot more clearly. The trend here is bullish. You can see how the pivots are angling up. Basically, the level 4 pivots below all the other pivots. You see how price is kind of going sideways for a little bit. This is why it's meant to be a consolidating strategy, because you can see how price consolidates here for a little bit. You have a double body rejection. This candle here is smaller than this one. And this is where the entry would have been for the push to the upside. And it would have went straight to TP. So unfortunately, this wasn't the entry that we took. But again, you can see there's like, I think today there's been 5 CV entries, 4 of them won and 1 of them lost. So you can see it's a pretty high win rate strategy. It's pretty good. It's just we got caught with the one that lost. And unfortunately, that was just the case there. Let's see. Hawk said, it looks like the blue pivot is still below the green pivot. So it wasn't fully confirmed as bearish pivots, referring to the last entry win. Yeah, let me just go back over here, Hawk. I'll show you. It was bearish. So this is bearish. To identify a bearish trend, the level 4 just has to be above all the other ones. That's what the trend is, because that's how you show it. You'll never have like a perfect trend if you're looking at the lower pivots, because these cross over each other all the time. But you can see over here, like I forgot how to take off the candles, but if I could take off the candles, you'd see a lot better that it would just have to be all the pivots would have to be below the red one. That's how the pivots always work for trend. All the pivots have to be below, all the pivots have to be above. That's how you would know if it's bearish or bullish. Because the green ones and the green and blue, they're always going to cross over. You can see how weak they are. Like even for example, over here with the other CV entries that came up, they were crossing right here, but the entry was still right there, right? Same situation. You just want to make sure all of them are below or all of them are above. They don't have to be fanning because there's going to be retracements, right? Like when they retrace like this is actually what we were looking for. We were looking for price to come up, have the reversal, and then come back down to open. So yeah, it's for the most part, it's just the all the pivots below the level 4 or above it. And that's going to show you what the trend is. But yeah, today was just a tricky day. I mean, you guys can see over here, a lot of the CV entries came up, but they just came up at like the red flags, which is super annoying. Yeah, because there's just no direction. And then we have a lot of these entries here. So there's another one right here that might be setting up. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if this one here hits TP as well. So we'll just watch for this one right here. And then if once this plays through, we'll just wrap it up for the day. I'm still going to focus on the red flags because red flags do play a big part. But you guys can see again right here, price is pretty much consolidating. I don't know what causes a big push to the upside, but price is back to consolidating. It was consolidating super hard right here, pushed up super randomly, and now it's back into consolidation. Pretty much where it was earlier. We just got caught with bad luck today. Let's see. Nick said, I noticed price hasn't pushed 100 points either way as well. So technically no trend was established at all today. Yeah. If you're looking at the actual numbers, the trend here has not really been established fully because price has kind of just been going back and forth. I mean, there's no entry here, guys. So let me go back here to the clean chart. I'm going to zoom out. So this is pretty much the range for today. It's in a huge range. Price opened right here. It came up a little bit, then it came back down, then it came back up, and now it's back into this middle range right here. Where price continues to, obviously go back and forth. But it's all good. I mean, I was hoping the market would start to move a little smoother this week, but it just hasn't. It's kind of just been going. It's been doing the same thing it's been doing. The good part is that we now have a strategy to follow now that we're doing that we have the consolidating variation, because you guys can see the CV entries, they work very well, especially during these types of market conditions. It's just when the market starts to move like it did right here, which we weren't expecting, it ends up not working very well because it's not meant for a directional strategy. If we're looking for something directional, we would be applying an MPS, right? So I think there might have been an MPS that set up right here, price pushed up. There was an MPS right here, but it was right at the session. So you guys can see over here, price pushed up, we got a buy signal. The trend shifted right here at this line. So when this red candle came down, this was the MPS entry right here at the 20 mark, or the 90 mark actually. And there was another MPS entry that came up right there, which was a full TP. But again, it was like near the sessions, and I totally missed it. So we're not counting this trade here because I didn't identify it during the live. I'm only counting the ones that I identify and possibly take. But there was another MPS entry that came up right here. But again, it was right at the session, so it becomes a tricky move when that becomes the case. Price pushed up right here, bullish trend, bullish momentum, price retrace at this point. The closest level for entry would have been right here at the 90 mark. Price came down, filled it, went straight to TP. So these are the two main strategies or one of the three main strategies that I'll be looking for. It's, it's typically going to be the MPS. It's going to be the CV, and also the breakout B3 continuation. Those are the three main strategies we'll be looking for. I think it's a pretty good trifecta of strategies to apply during these types of markets, because we have one for a directional market when the market's moving directional, and then we have one for the sideways market when the market's going sideways, which obviously it's going sideways here. So, all right, guys, I think this is it for the day. It's getting closer to, or now it's at 746, and you guys can see the ATR. It's doing exactly what we expected. I mentioned once it hits 740, the ATR starts to die down, and that's exactly what's happening here. The ATR is currently at 14. It's not a good area to be trading in and a good time to be trading in, because you might get caught in a position that just goes sideways for like the next, 20 minutes or so, and you're not really going to have anything here to take. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. I think you guys should wrap it up as well, unless you guys really have to trade, which I highly doubt is the case. come back tomorrow fresh, and we'll come back and keep applying these strategies. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, reach out. You guys can DM me on Discord. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up and call it a day. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow